Coming up on this episode of The Village Idiom.
So when all else fails, when someone's just got under your skin, just shove your tongue in their, not in their cheek. That sends a different message.
You in trouble.
That sends a different message.
You'll go to jail. Just take my word for it.
Next time we get it, it doesn't happen. It doesn't.
Village Idiom.
Hello and welcome to The Village Idiom.
We are a podcast that every single week chooses a popular saying to take a shallow but hopefully comedic and once in a while even interesting dive into its meaning, its usage, its origins, but also we're going to hang our otherwise directionless conversation on it. My name is Jurassic Mark.
And I'm Skinny.
Good to see you.
It's a great to be seen. Another great week. Living the dream.
Living the dream. Let's check this out. Check this out.
A winky face. I guess that could be helpful if I'm saying something tongue-in-cheek.
Absolutely.
There you go.
Winky face.
A winky face. You recognize that?
No, not at all.
American Dad.
No.
And that was a lead into today's idiom, which we'll get to in a minute. Tongue-in-cheek.
The tongue-in-cheek. Which, when I think about like facial things like that, what do you think about tongue and lip?
What do I think about it? I'm a big fan.
It's whose tongue, right?
Right. At whose lip.
But like if I put my tongue in my bottom lip or my upper lip,
the look of it is pretty intelligent.
Like go ahead right now and stick your tongue in your
sling blade.
Read my Halle Berry.
Hey George.
Right. And so
but a caveman
or
no
like
offense to any caveman.
Or chewing tobacco, kind of like little something tucked in there.
I got a funny. Okay, I know this is not where this is going. Complete your thought. It just popped.
I just think tongue into facial part is weird because they do have different meaning.
What's tongue and lip doesn't mean anything, does it?
Well, I think of like when you're to question someone's intelligence. And you're like, duh, or like you're gonna make someone like a dumb face, like.
I don't know if I do that, but now I'm watching you do it. I've definitely seen you do that.
Yeah, I don't know. It just seems like a
tongue-in-cheek refers to humorous or sarcastic statement expressed in a mocking, serious manner. So it's irony.
Really,
there it is.
It's sarcasm.
Tongue-in-cheek. But when you said tongue and lip, and then you mentioned chewing tobacco, I've got this great story about. Cousin of mine who, I mean, this is as, and he'd be proud of me describing him this way.
Sure.
This is as redneck Alberta, Canada as you can get. He was a bull rider, worked on the farm, like all of the above, right?
Truck, dogs.
Chewing tobacco. We had a big family this is years ago, big family gathering here. My parents have an acreage in Washington, and we were down there, and about half of it, 2.5 acres, is just wooded area, and we were playing paintball with some paintball guns, but mostly slingshots and whatnot.
I love slingshot paintball.
Slingshot paintball. And so we're just in there, like,
having fun.
Bunch of cousins and uncles just shooting each other up. Well, my cousin, who I'm referring to, was addicted to chewing tobacco, and he's like, I've got to stop this. So he had already been shot out of the game and was waiting. And he's like, no more. And he just launches his can of Skoal or whatever it was into the woods. And then he's waiting for the rest of us to come out, right? So one by one, we get shot, come out. And my Uncle Lee, who's no longer with us, but my Uncle Lee comes out of the woods. Tim, I think you dropped this out there. And he just grabs it. It's a sign. Shoves it into his lip.
That's awesome.
Never stopped chewing.
So he tried to throw it away, but it came back to him.
Yeah, on its own.
He was like,
it's a sign, no problem.
That Skoal can was a boomerang. That is so awesome. It's
Skoals.
Like you dropped your pack of smokes.
No, not just dropped it, but he launched it on purpose. And then my uncle, hey, Tim, I think you dropped this.
Doing you a favor. See? But what about the top lip?
Well, you can't talk after that. You get your tongue in your top lip.
No, but when people do an impression of a monkey,
of an ape,
of a monkey.
I think it's more air, though.
I don't know.
This is great audio right here. Watch this.
Well, you can try it. You can. All of our illegitimate children can try it for themselves. There's just tongue in. Yeah.
Tongue in cheek. What else is in tongue in cheek, tongue in lip, tongue in roof of mouth? That's all you got. Tongue in teeth, tongue tip of the, what is it?
Tip of the tongue, teeth, the lips.
Tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips.
Yeah, I don't know. I just thought that there's multiple meanings. Just tongue in.
I guess.
you just start making faces with your tongue. It's just like,
You ever just make face? I think I've talked about this before. We were at Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. Have I told this story?
I don't recall.
Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum in like Niagara Falls or something. And you walk in there, and of course, exactly what you think it would be, just ridiculousness.
House of Mirrors.
Well, the first thing is this long, almost think like a dressing room, full length, not full length, top to bottom, but left to right, just a super long mirror with a countertop. And as you walked along the countertop, it had different things. Like some people can roll their tongue like this. Some people can roll their tongue. And so you're in the mirror trying to do what only certain people can do. And some of it was cultural. Like there's certain cultures that use their tongue for speech and therefore need to be able to roll it and shape it like this. Right. So you're literally in the mirror making these faces like, trying to roll it. Like,
it would be great if they were filming you to show you later.
So that's basically what happened. Is you go through the whole museum, an hour and a half later, whatever. The very last hallway out, you realize that mirror was one way or two way, whatever the right word is, and you're in a dark hallway watching the people who've just entered doing it.
That is awesome.
And so we stood there for another 15 minutes just watching people do what we had already done, realizing we had been watched by whoever was ahead of us.
It's creating its own television.
Yeah. So, of course, we knocked on it. We couldn't resist. We're like, knock, knock, knock. The person's like, straightens up.
Walks away.
Trying to look in.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a lot of tongue in cheek and lips and tip of the tongue, teeth the lips, curl the tongue.
Oh, I love it.
Have you seen some of those tongue tricks, though?
Yeah,
like,
some
that's
people
unbelievable.
can make it like where it goes flat, down, back up, and across again like a seagull.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, so it's like a triple.
So you're rolling it, you're just making a U, but this would be more like a U with wings, seagull. I get it. And I've seen like a clover almost.
Yeah.
Like, that's the audio version of a clover.
Imagine, if you will. Or it's Charlie Brown's teacher.
Yeah, so I can't do anything. Like, and then you got these people who surgically split their tongue.
That's not right.
And
I don't know. Can they independently, or they just want it to be snake-like?
Well,
independently putting up.
What are you asking?
Like, I don't know.
They can move each side independent of each other. Like one side can go up, one side can go down, but they do it to be creepy, snake-like.
That's just creepy.
Yeah,
I can't see the value of that. I guess you could.
Me neither.
I guess you could just kind of like get the edges out of the bottom of a yogurt container. You could do both sides.
Gene Simmons could.
Well, you don't have to like run your finger along the
Gene
edge
Simmons
of a
could
jar.
pick up pop cans and just wrap around. Imagine if you could pick up pop can, take a drink.
If you could open it. Just pick it up and open it. You can open it with your teeth. You don't even need a tongue for that.
Oh, I can do that.
Yeah.
I've done that. I just did it right now.
So one of those things where there's multiple uses for
I guess
a good flexible tongue, right?
But
there.
that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about tongue in cheek,
which is when go ahead and do that now. To yourself in your car or while you're doing
wherever you're listening,
your exercises or whatever you're doing. Actually, why don't you comment in on that? Where you
watch this. If you're listening right now, I want you to just pause and on the count of 3, put your tongue in your cheek. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Now watch this magic trick. You were listening. You put your tongue in your cheek. You put your tongue on your inside of your left cheek. Now you can all write in. Let me know if I was wrong, but I wasn't, and you're gonna have your minds blown right now.
How did you know? Is there a thing?
I'm
You just making this up?
Yeah.
Oh, get out of my shirt, David Blaine.
But I might be making it up, but I'm probably right.
Wow, I did. Did you say it because I did it? So you blow my mind?
No, I just picked one, and you did do that.
That's the classic hunt for Red October.
What do you mean?
Well, it was the which way the Russian sub was going to veer left every 30 minutes or veer right every 30 minutes. And they called it the Crazy Ivan. The Russian submarine captain would do a hard turn, an engine stop, and change directions on depending on what time, if it was after the 30 minute or before the 30 minute that they did it.
So was he
called the Crazy Ivan? Some
sort of code, or it was?
No, it was just
to throw them off.
No, it was the Hunt for Red October. You saw it, right?
Yeah,
Tom Clancy, and he's like,
remember.
He's gonna do a crazy.
Sean Connery,
he's doing
right?
a Crazy Ivan, and it's like he's going left. It's like, how do you know that? It's like it's after the 30 minute. It was like this
pattern.
Yeah.
Nope. Was that Sean Connery, though?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes, it was. Hello, Kitty. Yeah, and wasn't one of the Baldwins in it?
Oh, man. I hope it was Steven.
Haley.
Haley, that'd be great. She's actually, she probably wasn't even born.
Zygote. So anyways, nonsense.
So tongue-in-cheek, another thing that popped in my mind before we get into origins and the background of this was, have you eaten tongue before? Have you eaten beef tongue or pig tongue?
Oh, yeah.
Have you eaten cheek? Halibut cheeks?
I don't know. I don't think so. But apparently the cheek is the delicious part.
I know. I was trying to think.
I don't think I have.
If I
did, I wasn't
Japanese? What would that be? Tongue or fish cheeks?
Fish cheeks. I don't know. Sounds Italian kind of name.
Fish cheeks?
Fish cheeks.
Hey, fish cheeks.
Say fish cheek. It sounds like most North American-y type one is just mainly the body of the animal.
Yeah.
Before you start dipping into earlobes and cheeks and stuff like that, it's definitely probably not.
That's
North
more
American.
in the hot dogs.
Yeah, that's for the extra. That's where the extra flavor.
That's
is
where the cheeks
Really
and lips and tongues are.
Tip of the tongue, the cheeks, the lips.
And that's what makes a hot dog. The tip of the tongue, the teeth, the lips, and that's what makes a hot dog.
The cheeks, the lips. That's what we'll adjust it up.
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting. Tongue and
Oh, the cheeks are the best part.
so that's what they say, but like it seems so tiny. It'd be what,
Well,
like the size of a
because-
contact lens. Delicious.
That was the best. Maybe if you ate it first, you're just so hungry.
Maybe like an orca cheek. That's a steak.
Gross. Just these orcas.
That steak was killer.
Like how they just go throughout the seas and catch sharks and just take their fins and dump the bodies back.
You think they do that with halibut?
With orcas.
Just take their cheeks?
Just orcas with missing cheeks everywhere.
Orca cheeks. Oh, that would...
Well, because classically when we would cook a fish like that, it would be headless.
Yeah, I know.
Like that's just all discard.
Exactly.
And so, yeah, I don't know. Just the idea sounds gross.
Yeah.
Plucking the cheeks off something.
I'm just like,
that's its face. It had a mother.
Yeah, why not just say fish heads? Do you really just eat the
That's
cheek? Is that the
disgusting.
only part that has any meat on the head? Is
Like the fugu. Like if you eat this part, it's poison. This part's good.
But the cheek is fine.
The cheek is fine.
Yeah.
Is it? Well, if it has supple cheeks, is it because it's been enjoying its life for like the last 4 years and then you pluck it out of the water and cut its cheeks out?
Rosy cheeks. Snip, snip. Delicious contact lenses.
I don't know. It just doesn't sound good. Wonder if it's like soft like an oyster.
I don't know.
Do fish smile?
Do they not?
Well, why would you need a cheek? Is it the general vicinity of a cheek?
I think it's the vicinity. Just cheeks. I don't think of cheeks as smiling or frowning. I guess it is.
If you're as big
This
as
is
mine.
more. We should have put a mirror in front of us, or should have flipped the screen towards us so we could watch ourselves.
It's so ridiculous.
So yeah, you were about to say send in what? A picture of you with your tongue in your cheek? What were you going to say? You're like, send in, and then I cut you off and said, let me do a magic trick.
I remember. Your magic trick was
so long ago. What did Mr. M say? It's a week ago. I don't know.
yeah, something like that. Anyway,
all right.
tongue in cheek. Well, we should probably talk a little bit about where this thing actually comes from.
Might as well. That's why we get together.
I said some words. Where'd they go? Where'd they go? No one can know. I turned around and looked behind. Those words came from another mind. Origins.
Cheek noise.
The helicopter.
All right, well, let's get into origins. So we're going to go with the phrase with tongue in cheek. We already said it means an ironic or insincere way. The Scottish author Tobias Smollett, remember him? Mm-hmm. He lived in the mid-1700s, and he used to thrust one's tongue in one's cheek to denote a sign of contempt. So it had nothing to do with irony. It was kind of like a middle finger kind of situation. It was tongue in cheek to someone. Yeah, it'd be like, it was to show contempt. You were like not putting up with it, tongue in cheek to you. So in his picaresque, I didn't make up that word, novel, The Adventures of Roderick Random, which sounds fascinating, 1748, The hero had just captured and handed over a highwayman and returns to the coach in which he's traveling and says this. When I had taken... Oh, it's Scottish. Can you do a Scottish accent?
Just drop everything. Go, hi. Try that. Hi.
Haggis and hi. Okay. When I had taken... No, I can't do it. When I had taken my seat, Miss Snapper, who from the coach had seen everything that happened, made me a compliment on my behavior and said she was glad to see me returned without having received any injury. Her mother, too, owned herself, I guess, obliged to me. Resolution, and the lawyer told me that I was entitled by Act of Parliament to a reward of £40. I'm sorry, this is a little lengthy, but for having apprehended a highwayman, the soldier observed with a countenance in which impudence and shame struggling produced some disorder, that if I had not been in such darned, we'll say for the family version, hurried to get out of the coach, he would have secured the rogues effectually, without all this bustle and loss of time by a scheme which my heat and precipitation ruined. Here we go. You ready?
Yep.
For my own part, continued he, I am always extremely cool on these occasions. So it appeared by your trembling, said the young lady. Death and damnation, cried he. Your sex protects you, madam.
It's darnation.
Darnation. If any man on earth durst tell me so much, I'd send him to hell, my heart, in an instant. So saying, he fixed his eyes on me and asked if I had seen him tremble. I answered without hesitation. Yes, which should have been aye. Here's a word. Dame. Dame, sir, said he. Ye doubt me courage. I replied very much. The declaration quite disconcerted him. He looked blank and pronounced with a faltering voice. Oh, 'tis well. I shall find the time. I signified my contempt of him by thrusting my tongue in my cheek, which humbled him so much that he scarce swore another oath during the whole journey.
It's just like a room of people, and you're like, and this for you, and this for you, and two of these for your horse.
So when all else fails, when someone's just got under your skin, just shove your tongue in their, not in their cheek. That sends a different message. Get you in trouble. That sends a different message.
You'll go to jail. Just take my word for it.
Next time we get it, it doesn't happen. Doesn't happen often, but when we actually, like, what was it? 6 of one, half a dozen of the other, or something, we like, no, I've just disagreed. When all else fails, I'm just going
Do you thrust your tongue in your cheek at me, sir?
Do you thrust your tongue in your cheek? So, thrust, you're right. So that's the next thing I have here. The verbs stick, put, and roll were subsequently used instead of thrust. So, for example, in Feeling in Actors, the Bath Chronicle in Somerset, February 12th, 1807. I'll not read the whole everything, although, pooh, he suffered from his feelings. Why, sir, I was playing with him one night in Lear. Oh, wait, Somerset, that's England. I might be better with an English accent than Scottish. Why, sir, I was playing with... No, I'm immediately going Australian. Why, sir, I was playing with him one night in Lear. When in the middle of a most passionate and afflicting part, when the whole house was drowned in tears, he turned his head and round to me, and putting his tongue in his cheek, whispered, Tom, it'll do. So much for stage feeling. In fine, an actor may make others feel without feeling himself, as a whetstone can work up steel it cuts, which his whetstone never does. Old English.
Wow.
Gotta love it.
That's some good
But
stuff.
that was still, well, it's changing the word, but it still had that just like, darn you.
Do we have a gesture for that?
Yeah, not tongue in cheek. It's just the middle finger.
No, but that's so harsh. Like, is there like
something
a step
in
down?
between? Well, there's the Italian arm, whatever that's called.
It's a lot of effort. Like, if you could just throw somebody a quick, like, little tongue in the cheek.
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything.
Like, where you're not, it's not like, yeah, the full out flipping the bird F-bomb seems like way over the top.
Yeah, this is definitely less.
That guy is such a
right
little tongue thrust.
Tongue in cheek. Tick. Yeah, I don't think there is. There's this one.
Yeah. And which
Still
one?
a big
That's
hand,
like the hand gesture off the bottom of the chin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know.
We had one. This completely makes no sense, but I was with a group of teenagers in Haiti, and we were on a missions trip, helping out, doing a little building and all the rest of that. And the kids in the neighborhood weren't all just trying to make us laugh, and they would throw you an F bomb, like, or like drop you the bird right there. And so we're like, these kids, like, like they just see stuff on TV or a T-shirt or whatever.
Do they really know
they don't
how harsh it is? It's like swearing in another language. You don't really feel bad.
Yeah, and they just know that it's taboo, don't necessarily know what it was. So we made up our own, and it's this. It's like where I like hold my finger like I'm shooting a gun into my hand, which is shaped.
But
like,
you miss each other?
No, it's like this. It's just I'm shooting it into the gap, like I'm shooting into this my gun.
Shooting into
it's this. There's no gun. It's just like this. And the phrase, I don't even remember what it means. Zebo Desibe.
That was actually Haitian or Creole or whatever.
It was Creole, but it wasn't. It was like our sounds like have a nice day kind of whatever. Zebo Desibe. And so it was like Zebo Desibe. And it was just for us. If we got flipped off, that we would throw them our own little sign.
It's probably caught on over there.
And so we wondered, it's like, do they go, it's like, is this really bad? Or is this,
we have these Canadian Americans and they hate so Dizzy Bay. That was it? Did I get it right?
As good as I could do it.
Oh, it's not an actual.
It might be.
Hey, so Daisy Bay.
For all of our
all right, back
all of our
to
Creole fans, you can tell us if that's close to meaning anything. Anyone in any language whatsoever.
Back to it here.
But we don't have
say it one more time because you're saying it to say. I don't think I'm saying it right.
I'm just
one more time. Just say it.
Zebo Desibe. Zebo Desibe.
All right.
And so, but that intermixed with our own little hand gang sign there is
right.
We're making up because there's not a phrase that I can think of or an action that is just a subtle version of you don't want to give the finger. That's
over the top.
Yeah, that's not.
I agree.
That's not good.
All right, let's get back to it. The late 1700s, there was a season where they don't even what's someone who studies literature?
Illiterate.
Literate.
Or illiterate.
The literati. They actually don't know how it was used. So there's a season. There's a few. I'll give you one. They literally find it in literature, and they're like, yeah, we don't know how or why they were using it here. So this example, the Norfolk Chronicle or the Norwich Gazette of May 1790. Here, the late Lord Kames was for 4 days before he died in a state of great languor and debility of body. Some friend came in upon him in that situation and found him dictating to someone who was writing for him. He expressed his surprise at his being so actively employed at that time. "Why, mon," he replied, "would you have me stay with my tongue in my cheek till death comes to fetch me?"
Do that in a Jamaican accent.
Hey, mon.
Why, mon?
That's the way it's written. Why, mon? But he says, would you have me stay with my tongue in my cheek till death comes to fetch me? So it almost sounds like bite your tongue. Like to be silent, like because he's dictating to someone who's writing.
There's another one.
Why?
Well, that means that you would in idiomdom that you wouldn't be saying like don't say it, like bite your tongue.
Yeah. So I
think
they
speak.
All the little
Tongue
articles I found says they don't know what they're trying to say. But to me, every time it came across to me like be silent, like don't say anything. Would you rather my tongue in my cheek? Yeah, shut up. So I don't know.
Tongue wagon.
A tongue wagon. That's back in like
the Cowboys and stuff
when they were driving around. Get your tongues here. Oh, the tongue wagon just pulled up. You want tongue? Okay, we're going to run out of time if I don't finish off these origins. So the phrase as we use it, 1828, The Fair Maid of Perth by Sir Walter Scott. The fellow who gave his all hail thrust his tongue in his cheek to some scapegraces like himself. I had to look that up. I don't know scapegrace. You got to watch YouTube for the faces Skinny's making while I talk. Let's see. The more modern, ironic sense appeared in the 1842 poem The Inglesby Legends by the English clergyman Richard Barham, in which a Frenchman inspects a watch and cries, "Superbe, magnifique," with his tongue in his cheek. So it was a poem saying, "Superb, magnificent."
It's like
with
satirical.
his tongue in it. Yeah, he was being ironic. It wasn't superb. It wasn't magnificent.
Sarcasm.
So it took until even though we're talking early, mid 1700s, it took until mid 1800s before it began to be used as the ironic thing that we refer to it now. So almost 100 years before it became an irony thing. Prior to that, it was contempt or unknown.
Speaking of 100, We got a special occasion coming up soon.
We do. Yeah, this is, what's today? This
98?
is 98.
Oh my goodness.
98th episode.
That is crazy.
Yeah, we're coming up on 100.
Yeah, so make sure you stay tuned for that. We have a special guest lined up.
We can give that secret away, you think? Like,
Sure.
yeah, so
Long time
listener, first time guest. We've referred to him 1,000 times
because he responds like all the time.
Yeah, he was one of the first listeners. I think he responded on episode 1 or 2.
Yeah.
And he's
early adopter.
He's traveled a bit and disappeared, and he had gone away somewhere
to the deepest, darkest realms of Asia,
and still sent in one message. Anyway, the Dang Alano is going to join us.
Will actually be in studio.
So you've heard us talk about him, username alone.
And so Dang will be here on episode 100.
That's correct.
100. That's crazy. Fun things coming up.
Here's a fun one. Speaking of British accents.
Sure.
You Charles or a Mary Andrew? What? Everything plays a farce to you. Women respond to sincerity.
Here it is.
This requires pulling one's tongue from one's cheek.
There it is. So, women require sincerity, which requires pulling one's tongue from one's cheek. Yeah, that was
Sound like Johnny
Kate
Depp.
and Leopold. The movie Kate and Leopold. I don't know the actor's name. So yeah.
Well, we're heading into the end of things here. We should wrap things up with some Riddle Link.
Yeah, Riddle Link. You ready to go?
Yeah, you said what you've had to say about the old tongue-in-cheek. Usually you have lots of great things to say.
All right, Riddle Link is a game we like to play that is a two-part overlapping question, usually based on trivia, and requires a two-part and overlapping answer, overlapping by sound or syllable or word or words. So, for example, last week with Mr. M still at the microphone, we did backseat driver was our idiom, and the idiom or the Riddle Link we left you with was football's thrower will tell you where to go. Did you pick up on that one? Football's thrower will tell you where to go.
Sounds like a quarterback seat driver.
That's it. Quarterback and backseat driver. The correct answer is quarterback seat driver, and that's how you play Riddle Link. So I got a couple.
Fantabulous. Let me jump in here. Never say that idiom, she said with the satirical tone. Idiom.
What? Never say
that idiom. She said with a satirical tone.
Bite your tongue in cheek?
Bite your tongue in cheek.
Ah, nice. Oh, I'm glad we referenced that. I might not have thought of that. Bite your tongue in cheek. Great. Okay, I got one for you. I know you'll get this.
Sure.
U2's album Blank Baby is referring to saying something ironically.
Are you trying to get me to say octung? But octung?
Yeah.
Octung in cheek?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh my goodness. That's so funny. I love it. So let me move right into another one. If you're one of our illegitimate children listening in, let's see if you can beat.
Shout it out at the speakers.
To the punch here. Okay. They said sarcastically, "Let's dance with faces touching."
Tongue in cheek to cheek.
Tongue in cheek to cheek. It's
tongue
beautiful.
in cheek to cheek. Perfect.
Ding,
That's
ding,
great.
ding.
Well, we've got ample time here. Why don't you tell people, because I'm going to give one more.
Okay.
Tell people how they can play along,
you got
get in
an extra
touch
one?
with us. Yeah.
Okay, great. You can reach out to us on Instagram at the.village.idiom or send us an email, thevillageidiom.podcast@gmail.com, or whether it's Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter at 3 Minutes Gone. That's 3, like the number 3 Minutes Gone, all one word.
That's great.
Let's hear that final one.
All right. So you got to resist answering. This feline saying regarding silence used to mean contempt, but now irony. I'm going to repeat that. This feline saying regarding silence used to mean contempt, but now irony. So send in your answers. Get in touch with us.
Love to hear from you, and that is 3 Minutes Gone. Good stuff, man.
Boom. What's 2.5 minutes gone?
Well,
But who's counting? Awesome.
So it was fun putting things together for you. We know you had a great time, tongue in cheek. But we do look forward to hearing from you. So yeah, send in your comments.
Do that.
I am Skinny.
I am Jurassic Sweet Cheeks Mark.
And these are the village idioms.
I would give you nearly everything if you would only tell me just how much you really love.
That's 3 minutes gone.